YouTube live stream. Trying to figure out why the well, if these are slow and why they're slow. So this isn't barely, yeah, this is just barely outputting anything. So these are outputting 90 of these shapes per minute, stacking all 4 quadrants. So then I guess the question is, are these slow? Probably. I mean, this is way under 50%. I guess I'll start here and ask myself why this is slow. I guess, I mean, the obvious explanation is that emeralds are slow coming in. Seems that these are being kept up. So then it's probably just the preceding shape, which is green. Obviously green's slow. You can see these are all red here. Let's take this one here. All right, this is really slow here. Maybe this stalls out, not making enough of these. I wish there was a count of what's hidden in the buffer. You could see these shapes here. There's some in the buffer. These wouldn't be sticking out. This is a pretty simple shape, so if we're not delivering enough of these, it should be really easy to fix. Yeah, okay. Just confirming that. That's somewhere way off in the distance. And these trains are clumping up as usual. That's never great. Okay, so that's blue. Okay, so this might just be a train delivery issue. There's just not enough trains. add more trains. It's a wait stop, so it should come in and pick that up. Now, if the trains are clumping up, I'm just going to hit pause here. Yeah, they're all full and they're clumping up. So what'll happen is the trains will clump up and they'll all try to deliver and they'll just fail at it. So one sort of simple assist here. We gotta be careful here because we're splitting off the red line here, and we'll have to keep doing that. So I can't put this too close. I can do that, split the red line off by selecting the routing and dragging red here. So that looks good. 2 stops, that looks good. So all we're going to do is we're going to double the amount of stops, allowing clumpy trains to deliver more stuff. It still doesn't fix the clumpy train issue. I could try to force an unload, a full unload on the clumpy trains. That could just be a temporary solution here. In the long run, that's not too great because it can block the train behind it. But this is a simple point-to-point delivery. I pick up exactly one thing and I deliver exactly one thing. And there's one basically delivery route on this line. So we'll see if these come in, if this mitigates this problem. These do have a fair distance to travel, as you see here. So it'll be a minute here before they get here. The speed on one of these, I'm going to call it a sector, for lack of a better term. Maybe people have specific names they've called it online. But the labeled 1-F here, these trains take 6 seconds to cross. 6 seconds? No, that can't be right. 18 seconds. 6 seconds for one of these smaller boxes. So if I were to time this out from here to here would be 18 seconds. But yeah, that thing is pretty starved. You're always no better than your weakest link. I mean, I'll fix this and there'll be something else almost certainly. You see how badly they're clumped, and it's just hard to fix that problem. A forced unload can sometimes help. So this is now on a wait stop, and it is being forced to unload everything on that train before that train goes back to the station. And as I say, that only really works if you have exactly one thing being delivered to exactly one destination. Anyway, that'll fix it for now. Let's see if these start going green here. Well, let's see here. Just out of curiosity, why is this still orange? Yeah, looks like I got a problem here. Well, I'm unclear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This should be able to consume an entire space belt here if it is fed by all these shapes. So why is this still not green? It's not being blocked on output. Well, maybe it is. If these are moving slowly, some shapes are fine, but the other shapes are like stalled. I could see that where if these are, if there's, yeah, if the stackers are not full, basically need all these stackers to be running at full rate. So they have to almost fill up, I suppose. And if these stackers are all running at full rate, these should run at full rate. And I'll still see these things go green sometimes. I mean, not green, when I can't understand. I think anything that causes a stall, and it will not be green. So I'm hoping that's the problem here. That it's just taking a while to go to kind of a steady state here. Yeah, like these ones in the this lane of the belt are waiting for these to stack. So that's why it's not running at full speed. Yeah, you can see some of those are not running full rate, like this one. I don't think my stacker's ever been optimal. But these now, these seem to be running 100%. I'm not expecting perfection at all. I am expecting more of these to go green. Like some of these reds aren't green, and I don't know why. Some of these blues aren't green, and I don't know why. But again, if they're not being consumed, they're probably not going to go green. Yeah, so we still have some belts that are stalled. I suppose you'd almost have to go to the end and then check your belts. And this might be about as good as we can do without a lot of work. I'm just surprised at how often these are read. But it's a complex enough pipeline that it... Yeah, I'm never clear on that. Now we can see, like, are these being fully supplied? I guess that would be the next question. This last one seems kind of full, and these are running at roughly 50%. I mean, that's what we want to see. And these outputs are full, almost. What is that, like 80%? Claims 100%, which is probably what it thinks the final steady state value is. Which doesn't sound right either. Just making sure there's no obvious problems here. Now this one, I'm not getting anything. Oh, that's broken. Well, that explains some problems. Any other of those are broken? No? All right. I'm glad they put indicators on these. It does make it a little easier to spot problems, even though, as I say, I can't. Like these I expect to be orange because this basically, the whole purpose of this line is just to supply rubies to, directly to the MAM. So half of these supply rubies to the MAM, the other half supply rubies to that. In blue, I have double the lines. Yeah, it'd be nice to supply the MAM, but I also need to supply all of these emerald stations here. But when it comes down to gold stations, I'm split. Like 50% of my output would go to the MAM, and 50% of my output would go to my emerald stations. Aquamarine, I'm sorry. Cyan, if you want to look at it that way. See, these are going green, so that's probably a good thing. My machine's really slow trying to process. What do I got? I thought it showed me here. I thought it showed me my operator screen how many millions of buildings I have. Anyway, it's millions of buildings. Okay, so now I'm looking at my exotic shape MAM, random operator shape, exotic shapes. See if we're getting anywhere. This was running last night and slow. Oh, this is a bug. It's like a copy-paste bug. Thought I double-checked all these, but obviously not. Let's make sure the next one's correct here. So I look at my shape. Oops, wrong one here. Second from the top. So it is this one, and it is the northwest shape. That needs to be correct here. But now, if these were just being consumed in the trasher, no wonder we weren't getting our final shape delivered. It was consuming all of our shapes. In an ideal world, we would make one space belt worth of shapes, 4 notches. It would have been able to consume those and supply the next one. But I don't think I got full production going. I'm using a transfer station here. Just going to add another one of these local trains. Why is it not grabbing that one there? Okay. So we're definitely delivering our aquamarine. Or cyan in this. I would call it cyan. It's just easier for me to remember. But yeah, the aquamarine exotic shapes. A lot of people say don't use transfer stations, they're stupid, and I kind of get why they say that. Now when I create another train, that basically will grab all of this, which will create, I guess I'd call it upstream pressure on all the manufacturing of exotics to resupply all this. But that shouldn't be that bad. Hopefully it won't affect my aquamarine production too much. Anyway, while that's deciding what it's going to do, I'm going to go back here and they are all showing green. So look at these. Why would those... Yeah. And I don't know the difference between, like, is it amber and green? Or amber, like red doesn't deliver at all, and amber, it's just not delivering full rate. But these are doing better now. This is, well, I thought that was showing red. Maybe that was 0 output at that point. See, when that's full up, it should pass on all of that green downstream. And this one's showing red, but it is delivering. My saves take quite a while here. So, I mean, it's delivering. I mean, it doesn't have any broken lines. I'm not going to obsess over that. There's always some bottleneck. Perfection's kind of hard to obtain. see if we're getting any aquamarine exotics delivered here. That's... Oh, okay, good. But this looks wrong. Oh, that's definitely wrong. It's another bug here. So that needs to actually be the aquamarine shape, not the color. When I have a bug like that, I always wonder, like, how many other dumb places, you know, if I made that same mistake. Like, that one's fine. I was making some of these changes yesterday when I was sick. I don't think that was a good idea. It's a good way to make mistakes. So the way this works is it delivers full exotic shapes here for... and I only go up to aquamarine. I haven't bothered with the others, although I have capacity for them. It's just a matter of fixing all that up. But it delivers the full shapes, filters on the full shapes, otherwise trashes them. That is due to potential misloader problems that the game has had. Then it chops those up in the correct quarter here. Then it filters on that shape. Currently, it says, yeah, we deliver that shape. Actually, I send one signal for my global MAM signal that says I am the yellow spike MAM. And then this is the the level selector, and this is the shape I need to be delivered here on this quadrant. And I actually run a ridiculous amount of wiring throughout this whole thing, which is why I got all these 1x1s here delivering these signals. And that's because my CPU here, it's using a ton of global channels here to deliver the specific signals I want at various points of the MAM. And it makes it pretty easy to paste a new MAM and just change like one signal, and then you have a new MAM. Alright, well anyway, going back to this here, if this is working, a lot of my blueprints are not optimal. I see people do them a lot more compactly. This is a paint, no paint selector. It just bypasses all of these. I learned how to do belt weaving here. So I heard about belt weaving. I asked about what it was online, and I found I can run 3 belts along a single width here. So that was kind of fun to do. So then this is the stack, no stack, because I do quadrants rather than other people do like a swapping MAM, so they don't have to stack quadrants like I do. That's a future project to do one of those. This is paint or no paint, and you can't paint exotics. I mean, sure, they're cyan, but you can't actually paint them. I mean, you can paint them, nothing will happen. Doesn't matter what color you paint them. Then this is the stack, no stack layer part of the MAM. So these are slowly filtering in now that it seems I fixed some of those bugs. It's looking good. And we only need to deliver like 325. And this is the final stack. Now this still won't start delivering shapes because I got a lot of like wrong shapes here. I don't know how long it'll take to filter all those out. Probably some time though. I could start trying to clear some of these buffers out, but there's going to be rather a lot of them. I've been deciding whether or not I want to basically deliver these by train between the layers. You could just hit the I key to clear that. Probably won't speed things up appreciably, but if you bring up your view here, you can see how we're doing. And what we need, it's a pretty simple shape, but we need green on layer 2, aquamarine on layer 3. So that's not too bad. We're delivering some correct shapes here. Yeah, some of these are correct. Should just be my final stacker with ruby. That's correct. As far as I know, that is correct. So then the final thing is just a trasher. That's just a visual. These things will accept bad shapes. So this is the final donation station. And that'll start counting shapes once it starts getting good shapes, and there we go. So aquamarine is mostly now working. So I'll let that process. And go back looking at my exotic line here. See if I spot any other issues. Yeah, I don't know why that would ever go red. Red would indicate to me it's literally not getting some shape. I mean, it would seem that as long as this got shapes, there we go. So our next shape will be operator here. Level 60. That's not the right one. Sorry. Aha! Okay. So this will test to make sure I'm delivering the color black at the top layer here. And I should be. As far as I know, that's been working. But otherwise, this is a pretty simple shape. This is just rubies. Now my MAMs are really, not very small, as you can see. So there's a huge latency. So it could be 30 minutes or more before it starts delivering those shapes. It'll deliver a lot of bad shapes first. It has to clear all these belts. I could show you the grand assembler here. So if anyone is going to play this game, what you're really going to do, I'm all the way delivering random operator shapes, so I beat the game in manufacturing. But what you're going to do is you're eventually going to get up to where you have a grand assembler and you're going to build vortexes. And you only need to like build like one vortex and then you're done. Everything else I did was just for an achievement. So if you click on that, it'll say rocket launch. Oh, it just must have launched one. So now it'll start building a new one in there and then it'll launch just like it did. I don't know how quickly I'm doing these. That's pretty good. This is mostly fully supplied, I'd say. I'm probably going to tear this down because I already have the achievement. And I thought, you know, once we were all done, we'd get a vortex for this map. But it doesn't look like we do. Ah, it's cool. It's like building little scaffolding in there. It's kind of neat how they did this. I don't think I've ever fully watched it build one of these. I might as well just do it. It's kind of cool. It's building some kind of base. Looks like a weird circuit board there. Yeah, they definitely put some work into that. And now it's launching. It's as far as I can zoom out, but you could see the rockets there temporarily. That's cool. I like that. But yeah, that's the final goal, is to launch the ground assembler. So you basically work through your milestones here in manufacturing mode. So you start out with your waste shape delivery system here. And then you need to polish your waste shapes. So I generally am sending them somewhere or other to be polished. Let's see, are these polishing? These are cutting them for polishing. These polish half waste shapes. So you cut them in half. Say I just have a simple cutter blueprint. It's another one. It makes me think, can I do that on a 1x1? I don't know. So then it polishes those, and then I rotate one side and then stack both together to make full polish shapes, and then deliver those. And then the polished shapes, let me go to my rubies here somewhere. This is my really messy original manufacturing line here. Yeah, so rubies will take polished waist shapes plus this really simple square circle shape. Now, one thing you can do, you go to your trade stations here and you can get a alternate ruby station. The alternate ruby station will take these polished shapes. These are easy. There's a couple different ways to make a triple. But you need to supply this shape, which is pretty simple. That is basically a red and white square swapped and a red and white circle swapped and then stacked on that. And that will deliver double the ruby shapes. So that's probably a smart thing to do, is to work on that. But now if you get to the later ones, take like aquamarine. Does that have a alternate? Yeah. So let's compare these. That's the B shape and this is the A shape. Or sorry, A station and B station. These shapes are simple. This is just an exotic gold. I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's simple. This is, you're going to stack a gold on top of a gold with a pin. That's easy. It's probably easy if I just bring this up. Now note that this will deliver 3 of these. This delivers 1. But how hard are these shapes? So that would be the next question. So this is like a more of an advanced shape to make crystals that are not filling up all the space. So you can't just cut crystals. So you can't cut crystals into quadrants. And I can't think of, well, let's see here. The way I would look at something like that is if you built like a 3/4 scaffold shape, as my friend calls them, around here, and then pour your blue, and then another 3/4, well, 2 3/4 shapes you can pour blue. Then you stack 2 more 3/4 shapes and you pour 2 cyan, then you'll get that. Now you just gotta cut one axis and then rotate and cut the final quarter off. So that's doable. So that's actually not that hard, I think. They can get weird, but I think that one is not too hard. I'd have to try it. And this is just gold, so if you know how to make gold, you can make that. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I could make my production lines more compact. Future goal, maybe make a production line with bees for funsies, if you want to call it that. I got a bunch of locators here. I just use so many, it's hard to find the ones I want. A9. Now, one thing I did do, well, I think it's probably reasonable to have a MAM just for, not for exotics. Because this MAM just does crystals and non-crystals. ROS 0 and ROS, let's look that up again, make sure I'm right. ROS 0 is no crystals, ROS 1 is crystals, and ROS 2 is exotics in manufacturing mode. So if I take a look at this here, it's a lot more compact is all I'm saying, because this I have to deliver, I think, 15 shapes. Hopefully I got that all correct, or that's a fair rework if I didn't get maximum. The way I counted it was 1 polished shape potentially, which I don't know if it's ever going to ask for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these, plus 5 base shapes if you include pins. So that's 13. So what am I missing on my line? Amethyst, diamond, and painite. Yeah, I might just have 1 spare, which is fine, as long as I'm not 1 short. But I don't know how people are going to do this. There's a lot more clever people at this game than me. I don't know how they're going to compactly deliver 15 shapes. I know they can compactly deliver like 4 shapes with an omni shape. That's a shape that has a square, a circle, a wedge, and a spike. And then they chop those shapes. So that improves their delivery. The other thing is, don't deliver like a full notch. A notch is like one of these things here. Don't deliver full notch, so make less than notch MAMs, and you can make them more compact, but you still have the problem, you got to deliver 13 shapes. So it'll be really interesting to see what the smart people, if their designs are. My designs are, you know, pretty straightforward. Alright, what else can I do here? I'm tempted to spin up another MAM, but I don't. I've never streamed on YouTube before, and I don't know how many people are actually currently watching and what they're interested in. What I could do is save this off and go back to a simpler save here in manufacturing mode and just play with that for a bit. Yeah, I got 3.45 million machines. And believe me, you get up to that and it's going to be laggy. Sometimes the game just stalls completely and saves take a long time. I don't have a lot of time before work here, but I will load up a simpler save and play with that and do some simpler stuff than exotic mams. I get that it takes a while to save, but what amazes me is how long it takes to shut down. Well, I think it's C# code, so maybe it has to like free up all the memory and any other resources in the pool. Calling a bunch of C# destructors, if that's what you call them in C#. Okay, we'll do play, and we have this untitled save game. This is regular relaxed mode. It's normally what I play in. Because I like a chill experience. Hard just seems like more work. I mean, more time, not necessarily harder. I don't think the challenges are that hard. Now, insane mode, I'd agree. You build challenging shapes. There's some shapes I have no idea how to build. I don't know why my camera is kind of rotated there. All right, so this is all I've done here. I think is maybe rubies, yeah, and I started delivering blues. So we will need blue square shapes here. I'm going to try to not build in the center area, just everything gets really jammed up there. So what I'll do is I'll use my shape selector, filter, I guess. Oops. R for square. Perfect. There's squares, there's blue. We'll just make one space belt of them. So I have blueprint for 4 fluid extractors. We'll just grab those for now. And we will, for now, just grab 4 of these. I have exactly 12. Why? Exactly 12 shape extractors. Build those. Build a wagon loader. Build a locomotive. Put a wagon depot on a locomotive. Put a stop. For simple stuff, you can just use these, you know, immediate stops. Wait stops get more complicated, but you got to ask yourself, do you really want to deal with them? Because you can run into problems with wait stops. All right, so we need painters. So I have a bunch of starter blueprints. These are really nice to have. But, oh, manufacturing mode, I don't need starter blueprints. But anyway, it's good to have a bunch of 2-level starter blueprints to get you going if you just start a new game and don't want to reinvent the wheel. Ooh, go to complete. Alright, we'll just dump our painters out about. You don't want to get too close here. I could probably have gotten closer. I like to use the second layer here. Or another option, like there's a bunch of ways to do it, but you can use like the third layer for paint and the second layer for shapes. Sometimes that kind of helps. All right, we're gonna unload this paint. do that wrong again. I didn't hit the flip key. Oh, we don't need to unload the paint because it's on trains. And, okay. Just gonna come one more here. We'll just come in on the back side. It's just it works. Now we just have to unload these shapes. I'm just gonna load them on the ground. See, if I built those out a little bit, I'd have a little more room here. So I guess I will load them this way, unload them this way here. So I need to build out one for my descenders here. Three should be enough. I guess on these, but should give me full blue squares if I did everything right here. So when you look at your research credits here, I'm just taking a gander. They changed stuff from the pre 1.0, so they simplified it, and you know, God bless them, because I'll tell you, I did not like the way they used to do it, and I can't afford really anything too useful here. But when you get to your speed multiplier, that multiplies everything, all your machines and belts, space belts, everything. So that's really simple, and you don't get into cases where you wind up with cutters being slower than belts. And then you can increase your train speed here, which is, you know, nice but not amazing because I can just run more trains. Train capacity is pretty nice. I think I'm just going to bump this up one. So now it's going to carry 2 packets, and each packet is 360 shapes per packet. 3 packets per level. So the shape drops off 1 packet, and 1 packet gets distributed among the space belt on each level. Alright, am I getting anywhere? Have I... Yeah, so those are blue shapes, so there's my central location here. So we need another wagon loader. Just build 3 trains. Depots and a stop. Now if you're drawing out train lines, and you note your grid here, or whatever, the name grid -3A, and you know you need to go to, like in my case, 0A. That can kind of help you know where to draw your train lines, because you're, depending on how far you want to zoom out and still try to manage to click correctly on that train. Alright, so these were just for demonstration purposes, but we will move these out by 1, I think. And we have This is not, I would actually recommend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'd actually recommend doubling this at minimum. Because these will deliver 90 or 6, sorry, I'm thinking in the fully sped up terms, but these are, it takes 8 of these to deliver Space Belt, and 8 of these deliver Space Belt, and those are fine. But when you go to the next layer, which I don't think I have unlocked, no. When you go to Emerald, you're going to need twice as many of these as Emerald stations. But anyway, I'm just playing this just for demonstration purposes, so we will just build 1-to-1 for now. I guess if you're building these, just kind of like build them in such a way that it's pretty easy to expand if need be. That's what I would suggest. Trains unloader. I've been finding it's easier to just build your unloaders first. Then you know exactly where the train's going to go. So that's where it gets a little more fun there. One also technique, it's probably obvious, but if you draw a train like that, you can draw like a guide rail. And when you draw out the train, it'll go in the direction you're drawing. So that's why that doesn't work, to just draw this out and then you'd reconnect. So I draw the guide rail next to it. Okay, let's see if these are working. They're showing green, which is usually a good sign. But these aren't delivering. These are supposed to be delivering squares and circles. Oh. These are like starter ones. They're only 2 levels. So that's something, by the way, I just make a note of what just happened here. It is asking me to deliver a specific amount of stuff, and then this thing becomes like unlocked somehow, however that works. But right now you'll see the lock symbol on here. Anyway, going back to here. Alright, so obviously I only have 2 space levels. Yep, amethyst and 3rd space level. Okay. So, yeah, so things are probably working as they should. It just delivers only 2 lanes of this space belt. Alright, sorry, it's early. So I did these wrong, as you can see, because there's not enough room for that other shape. So I'm going to have to redo these. Might as well just delete those because they're pretty wrong. Trade station, sapphire. Let's see, so I can't do it like that. I'll just arbitrarily start somewhere in the middle here. And then I'll have to move this. Trying to decide, yeah, because I need descenders. But yeah, that brings up my point about, like, you know, trying to build in such a way you can expand. If you think ahead a little bit, you save yourself some work. That's not what I do. I'm terrible, but... See, I thought that would work better. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. See, I should have never put my Ruby stations close together like that. It looks great until you try to expand it. I'm off by one here. That one goes there. That one goes there. That one goes there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ah, I see. I see what I did. There. that's better. But I got a little problem in running that there. But that's okay. I can connect these two space belts here. And then connect that there. And I can connect this there and that there. No, like, see, I can't split there. All right, well, I screwed up. I'll just own up to screwing up there. I want to delete that penny. All right. I thought that would just work, but I'm going to space out 3. Then there's more room. 1, 2, 3. So... people have their different preferences, but looking at this, one, two, three, four, 1, 2. Looking at this, I would have just spaced out the Ruby stations to line up with the blue stations. This, to me, just looks ugly. I just can't be bothered to redo it right now because I don't have enough time. But definitely, yeah, I redo it and space out the Ruby stations. Okay. All right, so I would just need this third shape, but I think I'm running out of time for work here. So if anyone's still watching, thanks for watching. I think this is a really great game. I have ridiculous amounts of hours into this. So and I definitely recommend it, especially if you like this kind of like it's this stuff, just building like this and getting started. Like I've seen reviews where people are really negative about it, like, oh, I just do the same thing over and over. And I said, well, yeah, I mean, if that's how you want to play the game, you're probably going to eventually burn out. I think where it gets interesting is when you build your make anything machines, aka MAMs, and automate it all. And that's where it gets, well, to me, more fun. But it's also frustrating. And if you don't know like digital logic type circuit concepts, you're just gonna have to go watch some YouTube videos. But there's a ton of YouTube videos out there showing some of this stuff. So I think, you know, most people could learn how to do that. Anyway, have a good day.